There is a growing concern of the human race using more resources than what is available to us. Zimbabwe is no exception. With the recent push in recycling, backed by media reports and greater public awareness across the globe, recycling has become more than just a concept of saving the planet, but a culture. Recycling has emerged across Africa, all the way to Zimbabwe, driven more by poverty, unemployment, and socio-economic need, rather than public and private sector design. With the awareness of the environmental and anthropological benefits of recycling, Zimbabwe has embraced the recycling culture, where others see waste, others see a resource of making money. According to the Environmental Management Agency, waste management is one of the most pressing environmental challenges in Zimbabwe. 18% of waste generated in the country is plastic. This garbage has become somewhat of a blessing to many Zimbabweans. We turn to the streets to get first-hand information from collectors in the city. They are seen collecting waste material in large bales on a daily basis. To some residents, it may appear as an unusual habit. Informal waste collectors are active in recovering valuable resources from the waste at little or no cost to the municipality and private companies. We asked the collectors how they became aware of recycling.
Recycling is through companies ajauya kwatiri achiti vanorecycla siyana maplastic, zvigubhu zvemaheu, zvemapeti, vachiti vanozvitenga nemaprice akasiyana through kunhonga kwaunenge waita vachitenga nemacages.
Pakutanga takatombotangaa tichimbonzwawo kune vamwe vachita zvinobatsira, svika tazoenda kumbare kunobvunza kwatinotengesera staff zvigubhu zvachona, so ndokwatakazonzwisisawo vachitaura maprice.
Takatiziisa recycling kutoshaka namabasa chaiko, takatoona ritoriro basa ritoripo zvamanje manje zvekutoti timbokwanisa kunge tichibata kuti tikwanise kunge tichirarama. Ndo maziro atakatozviita tangoona vamwe vachitoitawo futi.
We then asked the kind of material they are collecting.
Mtotora maplastics, zvigubhu, any plastic, ringori plastic chete, even rakagadzira chair, rakagadzira bucket, rakagadzira dish, rakagadzira cup, ringori plastic totora. Kozoita zvigubhu, mapeti kunge izvo zvese zvitotora, nyangwe chikakura chikaita 20 liters tangodai so chete totora.
Hatiwanza kolekta zvimaplastic izvozvi zvakaita sezvigubhu zvemaheu nemakeni neani maplastic ese anenge akangodonha mukufamba imo munzira umo.
Zvatinoti peti ndo zvigubhu zvakaita sezvepepsi, zvemadrinks, zvinenge zviri transparent zvinooneka zvirikati. Then yatinozoti HD ndo zvakaita sezvemaheu, zvakaita seanapfuko, anashumba maheu, ndo zvinotidhure izvo. Zvinotorwa izvo $3 per kg, saka ndo zvinokwanisa kutiitisa mari. Izvo ndo zvatinowanzotora zve-HD.
We sought to find out whether they are aware of the environmental benefits or their efforts are entirely economic driven.
Benefits anobatsira kutanga ndeyekuti environment yedu iri clean, uyezve chinhu chikanyorwa kunzi recyclable chinofanira kunge chichidzokera kwachinofanira kunge chichienda. Saka ndo zvimwe zvatinoona zvatinonge tichibatawo nekubatsira nyika kuti ifambe.
Because hatisi kuzowaniwo tichirara tine nzara, ndisika tikuzowaniwo tichirara tadya, tikwanisa kuwana mutengo usipo everything nezvimwewo zviri nanani.
Recycling inobatsira environment because ndakazvitarisa zvinokwanisa kuredusawo kuti marara awande, but hazvisi kukwanisika kudaro through kuti isusu tangozviti nenyaya yelife yedu tangozvitiraka kurarama.
125 million tons of municipal solid waste was generated in Africa in 2012, which is expected to double by 2025. The growth of waste generation in Africa is expected to be so significant that any decrease in waste generation in other regions globally will be overshadowed by Africa. Waste collection services in most African countries are inadequate. Municipal solid waste collection rate is only 55%. In Zimbabwe, city council is inconsistent with waste collection. More than 90% of waste generated in Africa is disposed of at uncontrolled dump sites and landfills. In Zimbabwe, the most popular disposal method is open burning. On average, 13% of municipal solid waste generated in Africa is plastic, and 57% is organic waste, the bulk of which is currently dumped, but which could provide significant socio-economic opportunities for countries like Zimbabwe. As we dug deeper, we learned of the challenges faced by the waste collectors.
Isusu kwatiri hatidonyepo zvinhu zvazvina income because vari kutibatira pakuti ivo vanoti kwatiri vanotenga zvakasviba, but although isusu takatira by all means kuti zvichene tende kwavari zvakachena, havasi kukwanisa kutengera neincome through kuti vanenge vachitidzvanyirira after wataisa life yandiri kurarama inika akundidzvanyirira akundiudza kuti pakeji ndokupa 20 bond, of which 20 bond yepakeji ka akaselekta zvinhu izvo zviri kumupa dollar or $50 to $80 aselekta staff iyoyo, but in pakeji anenge anibhadhira 20 bond.
Zvinhu zvachona hazvisi kubhadhara mari dzechikafu chete.
Saka isusu manje taiziva ka hatina mukana wekuti tisvikewo makambani aya through iri bridge riri pakati pedu vari kuuya kuzotenga, ndovari kutisira bridge because ina handikwanise kuenda ne20 kgs of which 20 kgs ka ndakanodzitengesa uko hadzisi kundipa mari futi handiri kukwanisa kurarama nayo. Saka vandiramba vangotisira bridge because vari kuda zvatinazvo kuti wawane mabenefits mumakambani, but macompanies iwo akauyawo direct kwatiri tokwanisa kutaurawo navo zvekuti tiunganidzwe isusu staff yacho totaura nemacompanies direct toudza kuti hatina basa nepei, mungatotipe madiscount ezvinhu zvenyu zvamuri kutipa kuti tishandise masaga neplace yenyu yamuri kutipa, isusu tounganidzawo zvakawanda then kambani oyoita futi mabenefits futi nesu, but isusu tichiziva zviri kutipawo income of which environment inobva yabetsereka because teta kuita neshungu tichiziva kuti kuita zvinhu ine proper way. Takutangawo kuita kanzuriwo ichitawo zvainoita isu tichiziva kuti kutora maplastics nechichi marara anoitawo mashoma.
After talking to the collectors, we focus our attention on one particular local business, which is in the plastic recycling industry. Mr. Kangara of Conductors Investments.
My name is Ngoni Kangara. I'm the managing director of this company, Conductors Investments. We've been in existence for the past 18 years. Initially, we started basically as a trader of plastic products. We were ordering plastic products from all over the place, sometimes from across the border in South Africa. At other times, we used to also order locally and then distribute the products to the end users or to the medium users. Eventually, they will go into the consumer system. We bought some equipment from China where we started manufacturing plastic products for packaging purposes as well as the farming community. Basically, what we were supplying to the farming community, was planting pockets for seedling production. From the onset, we were using materials that we were purchasing from other local recycling, small recycling companies. We decided to also start collecting plastic and recycling it for ourselves in-house. We bought equipment, and our biggest recycling machine is an Austrian-made piece of equipment. As a plastics manufacturer, initially we had obviously a community obligation. That obligation was to get back all the plastic products that we had manufactured and recycled. Through our research, we discovered that there's over 8 trillion tons of waste plastic floating somewhere outside in our water bodies, that is rivers, lakes, and oceans. And it touched us, and we were compelled to also become a participant in collecting plastic waste. The process in the factory, from the recycling side, which is the supply side of raw materials, we had that big crusher where all the industrial lumps or ex-industrial waste, which comes in the form of lumps like a big rock, we throw it in there, and then the crusher crushes it down and it makes it into flakes. And then it goes further on the machine that is right up at the end of the factory. This is where they put all either the crushed flakes or the plastic fuel. They put it into another crusher again, which forces the material and heats it up to an extent so that we remove some of the moisture that is within the material. And once that has happened, it's a simultaneous process. We've got some blades spinning inside the big tank. In that tank, the material is now forced by centrifugal force into the screw, and we've got a force feeder putting all the material into the long barrel, and then it goes up and it goes via the filters where we filter all the other extra impurities, and then it comes out in the form of spaghetti. And when we cut it on the die-face cutter, and then the pellets come out. They are mixed with water, immediately cooled. The water is vibrated and sieved out, and all the fine particles also fall to the bottom into the tank. And then it goes into the cyclone. In the cyclone is where all the excess water is spun and goes up and goes into the silo. Once we empty the silo, we bring it onto our second part of the factory. This is where we manufacture the final products. In there we've got also another dryer. It's a big thing like a drum, and it's got blades inside. The drying process is through heat that is generated by friction of blades that are inside. It pulverizes the material, creates friction, and then thereabout the resultant is heat that dries out all the excess percentage of heat. Because when the material comes out from recycling, there will be about 5% moisture in it. We dry it until there is at least 0.9% of moisture, and there is also an homogeneous mixture of the pellets so that they are not separated by color. Once that has been done, we rebag it. After rebagging it, we now mix it with other constituents, which are basically additives. These additives are to stabilize it so that it doesn't break down very easily if it's made into either planting pockets or black sheeting. And also we mix it to give it color, if you want it red, blue, brown, or whatever. And then we also put in moisture removers. This stops the plastic from absorbing further moisture during processing and in the aftermath as a product. We now put it in a machine. It's called a film blowing extruder. The film blowing extruder melts the material, and then it comes out, and then there are nip rollers at the top which nip the plastic, and then we blow air inside, and then it forms a sausage tube. That tube is the air inside is constant. This is what gives us the size of the material. The speed that we pull the material up gives us the thickness, and then we might wind the material, the plastic material, into rolls. After winding the material into rolls, we can either take it to another process where we can print. After printing in various colors that are standard to the requirements, of the end user. We then bring it to a bag maker where we seal the bottom and we cut automatically, and then we've got a bag size length and bag width. So those are the processes that we go through. Our economic situation, the recycling culture, especially among the non-elite, it's actually an eye-opener to us, to the point that people are very much eager to make an income on this side. So it has become an industry that is self-propagating because of economic needs. We've got a very, very high rate of unemployment, and we've got a very high rate of the prevalence of diseases like maybe AIDS, which is a disadvantaged part of our community. And this has spurred them on to looking into avenues of how they can sustain themselves. Whereas now, if you look at other people who are well-to-do, they are the people who are still lagging behind, who lack appreciation of the need to recycle. And these are the sort of people who need conscientizing, because economically they are well off, so they are not compelled for any reason to become participants in the whole recycling project. We are Conductors Investments, situated at number 2 Shepperton Road in Granite Side. We've got our website, which is www.conductors.co.zw. Thank you very much for allowing me to show you our processes and our endeavor towards working towards a cleaner environment and cleaner packaging systems.
Zimbabwe needs to realize the opportunity that secondary resources represent for the country. It's going to take the efforts of government and private sector to raise awareness on the recycling and benefits derived from the recycling culture.